My name is Faith, and I dated a con artist. And this is that story. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Faith. Today I wanted to do a very fun video about how I kinda dated a con artist from Tinder and how he played me. So before we begin, I'm gonna need a drink because this is a very funny video. So I'm going to basically tell you everything that happened, what were lies, what weren't, and then I'm also going to reenact some parts of it for fun. I hope it's just funny because I don't really care. I mean, I feel like everyone gets played at some point, so this is my story. Let's start with the beginning. So I met this fella on Tinder, and with my previous dating experiences, blah, 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 I basically have nicknames for everybody. And so I'm not actually gonna call him by his name, obviously for privacy purposes. I'm just going to refer to him as con artist. And then you'll know who I'm talking about. So I matched with this guy, I believe it was February on Tinder. And he was actually a first-generation immigrant from South Africa. He actually lives in Cape Town, and 3 years ago, this is everything he told me, he moved to Canada as a refugee to escape xenophobia. If you look into the research of South Africa, their politics, their history, apartheid just ended recently with Nelson Mandela, I believe in the 90s, so there's a lot of racism and all that there. So I do believe that. So 3 years ago, he came to Canada, and so we matched. So he's telling me his story, I'm telling him a little bit about myself. We connect via Instagram, and we start messaging each other. So we're obviously checking each other's Instagrams out, and I have proof. I'm gonna show you this photo of like a really nice bed frame you're gonna see. And he told me he was a carpenter, and that he actually made this bed, a double bed, for his mother as a birthday gift. So obviously, I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, not only is he a carpenter, does he have a good job, he's gifting things to his mom, means he's a family-oriented person, just like I am. So, just an FYI for you guys to know, a lot of people on Tinder want to hook up, all that stuff. I was sort of looking for like a relationship. And so when I look for boys or men on Tinder, let's say men because boys sounds creepy. When I look for men on Tinder, I actually raise my age limit from about 25 to 28 or 30 years old. I'm 23, but I'm very mature and I have been uptight in the past, so I'm trying to loosen up a little bit, but that's why my age limit is up higher because of maturity reasons and also because I'm very fortunate to have a very good job in the government, and so I don't really want to date a student because I want to date someone in similar life circumstances as me. Basically someone who is self-sufficient, has a good job, etc. So this guy, con artist, was 28 years old from South Africa. So we talked a little bit. He was saying that one of his big dreams in life is to build a shipping container home, which is really cool because that's also a goal of mine. So we connected in a lot of ways, and actually I believe we talked maybe for a week, maybe 2 weeks before we decided to go on a date. And this was before quarantine. So I'll actually insert a photo. But my sister, my triplet, Harmony, we went on a date together because we both conveniently had Tinder dates set up in the Byward Market at 6:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. So we called each other, we arranged it, I waited to take the same train as her, and I'll insert that photo here. And it actually kind of helped me beat the nerves. You know, we actually went to the same restaurant in order to spy on each other's dates because we're sisters and why the hell aren't we going to do that? So that's what we did. And she thought he was cute, I thought he was cute, whatever. So we went on this date and he was speaking to me. He was telling me that he knows like 6 languages. So that was really cool. And honestly, to me, I was very interested in the exotic immigrant kind of lifestyle. So I was just like, you know, I want to get to know him. I want to know like these different culture things. If you guys know me, I want to travel one day. And I'm just very interested in people who live in different parts of the world. And I'm open to dating different kinds of people, different kinds of men. So that was very exciting for me. And so the whole total of this relationship, we saw each other maybe like 8 times. So like 8 dates, I guess. And so he lived in Gatineau and I live in like Ottawa. So it was definitely a little bit of a journey. He didn't have a car, so we both had to bus, etc. But let me, I guess, start by telling you where I think things started to go wrong. And in the other video, if you watched about the triplet video, this is why my sister said that I don't have a red flag-ometer, because I was naive, I admit it, and I'm not gonna fall for these things again. So the first date we went to the restaurant, it went great, so I paid. The second date, he said that he was going to pay. So we went somewhere for breakfast. I know he was a student. He works part-time at Loblaws in Gatineau because he is taking carpentry at, not Algonquin, but the college in Gatineau. So I knew he didn't have a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. I knew if we went out to breakfast, it would be a little cheaper for him to pay as opposed to, you know, somewhere more expensive. Also, he had told me that he had been a carpenter in South Africa, but because of the temperatures and how buildings in South Africa do not need to be insulated as much as they do in Canada, that in order to get his carpentry license, he had to retake the courses here. And I think it was a year or 2-year degree, and he had like 1 year or 9 months left to complete. So I was like, okay, end is in sight. He's not going to be a student forever. He knows his stuff, blah, blah, blah. So we go on the second date. It's, again, in the Bayard Market, because downtown Ottawa is the middle for both of us. And he pays, but he pays with Apple Pay. Now, if you guys know me, I'm basically like a boomer. I don't get technology that well. I'm kind of slow in that department. And I don't use Apple Pay. Personally, I don't trust it, and so on and so forth. So he paid, and then as soon as it beeped saying your transaction has been approved, he goes to the waiter, I forgot to tip. I'm so sorry. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I'm looking at the waiter, and the waiter's like, you know what, like, that's fine. And then he just walks away. And I felt so bad, and I didn't have any cash, and I'm looking at con artists, and I'm just like, it's not a good impression. But again, I've never used Apple Pay before, so I wasn't actually sure if that was an option. So when you pay on your phone, does like a tip option appear before you pay? I don't know. I've never used it. So that's kind of what I thought in that circumstance. And then we went on another date, and it was like a cute Canadian skate and beaver tail date, which was okay. And so again, we meet in downtown Ottawa, and I get him beaver tails. We're standing at the thing, and I'm kind of waiting to see like who's gonna pay, you know, who offers up their wallet first. It's kind of like that guessing game. Of course, he doesn't. And so I pay for our beaver tails. It's fine. It's not that expensive. And then we get to the skating rink, and I brought my own skates. Now, he's never skated before, so I took him skating, and then we get to the place where you can rent skates. It was about $40, and the guy says, okay, we're gonna need your ID, and I think it was your credit card or cash. I think credit card was allowed as well. And then this is what con artist does, okay? This is what he does. He looks at me, and he goes, and he's like, you can't see my hands, but he's like tapping his pockets as if he doesn't know he doesn't have his wallet. And he goes, I didn't bring my wallet. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you go on a date and you don't bring a wallet. But also, I have skates. I don't want to pay for you to rent your skates. Like, no. So obviously it was really awkward, and I'm very naive. And so I gave my license and my credit card, and basically the people at the concession stand with the skates just keep it there so that they make sure that you return the skates. Because if you go off and steal them, it's like $300 or something to replace them. So that was weird. So there was another time that we hung out and we bussed somewhere, and Again, okay, I'm not trying to be prissy. I do not need a rich man. I just don't want somebody to mooch off of me. So we go to like the new O train downtown, right? And it's got those gates that you have to go through. So you swipe your ticket or your card or whatever, and then the gates open and then they close. Well, I used my bus pass to get on the bus, and it opened, and he basically like pushed me, so like humping my butt, not really, but he was trying to get through before it closed. And so I looked at him and I said, "You don't have a bus pass?" And he goes, "I forgot my wallet." And in my head, I'm like, you've known we were gonna hang out for like a week and you purposely didn't bring your wallet? But also, I'm kind of like, but you have Apple Pay. So like, can't you withdraw cash, or can't you, I don't know. Also, who travels without a bus pass? Like, I get it if you're trying to be cheap and save money, but that is not a good look on like dating somebody new, okay? So that was weird. Anyway, so we hang out at my place. There's like another date, and I end up cooking for him, and we're hanging out. And again, aside from these things, everything was well. Conversation was good. He kept telling me that I was very beautiful, which if you haven't seen my breakup videos with my ex, definitely check those out after this video. Basically, I had not really been treated properly, so I just really liked the attention that a man was giving me. And he was also attractive, so he had that going for him. So we hang out at my place, and of course, I want to cook and impress him, right? So I actually I worked so hard on the dinner, and it was like a short, compressed day for me from the office, and I went to the store and I brought everything back. So I ended up making barbecue chicken wings, roasted potatoes, and broccoli salad. Now, as soon as it was all ready, I swear to God, he did not know how to use tongs. And he goes to move the little thing off the tong, and the whole thing starts flying, and he flips the tray of the chicken wings on the floor. I am not joking. And he looked at me, and I was like, oh my God, like whatever. We salvaged a bunch of them. Some of them had to be thrown out. Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, so we're eating, and conversation's going good, and he really liked the food. Then we hung out, and then he slept over. Yes, he slept over. Am I naive? Am I dumb? Yes, I am. So, again, I'm trying to impress him, and we were both gonna leave in the morning to go to work. So I made him like a little lunch to bring to work because I'm trying to be cute. I'm trying to impress, right? At the beginning of relationships, you try to impress people, and then like 6 months in, you show the real you. It's just how it works. So, so that was great. And then we have a couple more dates, blah, blah, blah. So then he comes over again, and he stays the night. So right before bed, he goes, "Oh, you forgot to make lunch." And he didn't say, "You forgot to make my lunch." He said, "You forgot to make lunch." So I said, "I made my lunch. I didn't forget." And he just looks at me. So in my head, I'm like, this guy wants me to be like his mom and like pack him a lunch. I'm not doing that. So then the next morning we wake up, and I am going to reenact this for you over here, okay? It's so funny. I can't. Anyway, the next morning we wake up, and we're getting ready to go and catch the bus together. And as we're leaving, I grab my keys I have a shelf in my hallway with where I put my keys when I come home in a bowl. And my keys were in that bowl, and I grabbed a lanyard to pull my keys out, and you can see a $10 bill falling on the ground. I had more money in there. Thank God it was only a $10 bill. So I had a $10 bill fall out. And then he goes and he looks at me and he says, and first of all, he bends down to pick it up. And he goes, "Faith, Faith, Faith, please, 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 can I have this $10? And I'm like, huh? And he goes, "Can I have this cash? Can I have this $10? And I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, I don't have a lunch. I'm gonna be hungry if I go to work. I don't have my wallet, blah, blah, blah." And mind you, he consistently went on dates with me and would forget his wallet. And then because I didn't pack him the lunch or leftover food the night before, he's asking for my money to buy his food. Mind you, okay, I work at 7 a.m. We were leaving at 6 in the morning, His work / class, I can't remember, started at 10:30. He had time to go home and make himself some food. Also, doesn't he have Apple Pay? Can't you go to Tim's and just tap it with your phone? Like, anyway, so I was actually really put and really off guard, and I didn't know what to say, so I said yes, and then we left, and I was like, oh my God. Okay, con artist, you ready to go? Yeah. Yeah? Oh my God, can I have this, Faith? Please, can I have this? Oh my God, you don't know how much this money would mean to me. Please, can I have this $10? What? Please, 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 I don't have a lunch today, and I need money for food, and I didn't bring my wallet, and I don't know how I'm gonna go on the bus. Okay. Thank you. You're beautiful. Okay, let's just go. All right, I'm ready to go. Again, it doesn't matter, $10 is not that much money, blah, 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 but like, it's just the whole point of not really knowing someone and then asking for their money. Mind you, there were also some other red flags. So the first time he came over to my place, his friend dropped me off, and he goes, yeah, my friend was saying like, wow, she lives in these buildings? Like, this is a swanky neighborhood. This is like a rich neighborhood. And I'm like, yeah, I live here, like, whatever. Anyway, and then he goes, how much do you pay in rent? And so again, naive Faith, I tell him, and I'm not gonna share that with you guys, but I tell him how much I pay in rent. And then again, the next morning when we were leaving, it was winter, I pull out these, big ass boots. They're like really ugly winter boots. And he goes, those are Sorel boots? And I go, I don't know, I think so. And he goes, yeah, I used to work at the Bay. Like, wow, those are expensive boots. Like, how much did you pay for those? And I was like, I don't know, like $250, like whatever. But mind you, I just like broke my winter boots, so I like to buy like good quality ones that'll last me like 3 or 4 years before breaking again. So anyway, so these kind of questions were weird. And so I kind of got the feeling that he was like sort of with me for my money, or at least wanted like a sugar mama, which is not what I wanted to be. Anyway, and then we had fights. We had a lot of fights together, and honestly, throughout the 2-month relationship, I don't even call it a relationship, by the way. Whenever I refer to my ex, I'm referring to my ex of 4.5 years. Me and con artist, we were never a thing. We only dated less than 2 months. We were never boyfriend and girlfriend. I never committed to him. He kept trying to get me to, and I'm like, I'm not ready for that. So he kept being interested in money, and so we would fight about things. And he was constantly bringing up marriage and asking me my opinion on it and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, well, you know, like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get married one day, but like, I'm gonna get a prenup. And he didn't like that idea. He kept saying how getting a prenup is a setup and it's someone preparing to divorce. And he's like, and you can't get into a relationship like that. And I'm like, I understand your opinion. However, I'm preparing for my financial safety in the future. And anyway, so we argued about that one day for like 2.5 hours. And I'm like, I'm not talking about this with you anymore. Like, you're not gonna change my mind? That's kind of weird. And we would also have text fights. So like, so much so that like he would say something, and again, he had a strong accent. So that's why I believe he was actually from Cape Town, South Africa, because he had a really attractive accent. And English was like his 6th language, so it wasn't the best. So definitely communication was really difficult between us at some points. But we would have text fights, and he would literally take a screenshot of our conversation, circle something I wrote, highlight a line, and say, what is this? Like, that's so rude, you're racist, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, you're totally misreading that. Like, Anyway, so just a quick background since I realized I forgot to tell you guys that he does not have his Canadian citizenship yet. He said he's waiting. He needs $900 to pay for the Canadian immigration status test that he needs to take in order to get his citizenship. So that was also kind of on my mind. He's not a citizen yet, but he's already talking about marriage and he's talking about money. It was just really, really weird. And so another weird thing was that when I saw him back like in February, that was right when I started my YouTube channel. So I purchased a camera as an investment to my channel, and then he was really into it and he was saying how he's gonna buy a camera, blah, blah, blah. So he ended up purchasing a camera, like a Canon something something, for $1,500, and then a week later he decided to return it because he couldn't afford it. Mind you, he's making minimum wage at Loblaws, living in Gatineau, living on his own, which is great, with cheaper rent than Ottawa, obviously, but he was not making a lot of money. He was in school full-time, and he spent $1,500 on a camera when he could have paid $900 to get his citizenship. That's really weird to me. Anyway, and then I kind of told him, I'm like, yeah, that's not a really good financial decision, blah, 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 and then he took it back. And I wasn't trying to make him feel bad, but he asked me about these things, and I'm like, nah, like, that's not a good plan, dude. Oh, and he got mad at me for calling him dude. Apparently, dude in all the languages they speak is considered, like, rude and an insult, and I just say dude, like, all the time. And then he would go on and be like, what if you said that to your parents? Wouldn't your dad get mad at you? And I'm like, no. Anyway, so a lot of different weird, like, language barrier type things. Anyway, so we had another fight one time because, okay, so he was looking to apply to a better apartment and his computer was broken. So he sent the application to me via email, and he sent me a text, and this is what it said. Fill out application ASAP, I need this for apartment. And so I look at his text and I'm like, are you asking me for help, like, to fill this out so you can get an apartment? And he goes, yes. And I said, okay, well, where is the please, or can you, and where is the thank you? And then he calls me, and, like, anytime we would get in text fights, he would call me because he didn't understand what I was saying. And he would be like, when have I ever taken advantage of you? When have I ever been disrespectful to you? When have I been a really mean man to you? Blah, blah, blah. And I go, like, you haven't, like, real, like, what, like, and he goes, I don't feel the need to say, please, can you fill this out for me? Because we're dating and you should just know that I always say please or can you before something that I text. And I'm like, it's gonna take you 2 seconds to say, please, can you fill out this application? Thank you. Why don't you just do that? And he goes, I don't need to. And I'm like, but it's rude to not. Anyway, it was just weird, but, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna go up to someone and be like, do this for me right now. Who do you think you are? Like, so I ended up trying to end things with him, like, 3 different times. And every time I would call him and be like, yeah, it's not working, we're arguing too much, it's just not worth it, it's the beginning of a relationship, it's not a good sign, blah, blah, blah. He would convince me to not reject him. And I kind of felt bad because I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just the language barrier. Maybe, like, I can communicate when we can try harder. But also I was just like, you know what? Like, I have to take, like, 4 buses to get over there. It's just too far. Like, also, like, there's a lot of red flags, you know, like, I don't know. But I ended up staying with him for, like, 2 months. Also, at this time, he was telling me that he was having dreams where he impregnated me and was very, very excited about it. I'm like, I don't want to be a mom right now. And he's like, yeah, but, like, if I got you pregnant, like, yeah, like, I'd be a great dad. And I'm like, dude, like, what is wrong with you? Anyway, and another lie that he told me was that, I'm convinced this is a lie. If any of you are watching this and you guys are firefighters, he told me that he applied to become a firefighter in the Ottawa or Gatineau area, and that he didn't make it. And the reason he said he didn't make it is that he went through all the training and all of the physical exercises. By the way, this guy was, like, buff. He had, like, the biggest arms I'd ever seen. I was kind of thinking he was on steroids. He said he wasn't, but so he could pass the physical firefighter fitness test. And he said then he had to do a lie detector test in which they, like, stuck things on him or whatever. And then the chief firefighter asked him questions, and one of those questions was, you're in a burning building with a family of 5. You're able to get 4 out of the people out, but you can't get the 5th, which is a child, and because your sergeant or whatever tells your team to evacuate the building because it's going to collapse. What do you do? And he said that he would not leave the building and he would put his team at risk because he would go to save that helpless child and try to get that child out to safety before the burning building fell down. And when I heard that, I'm like, I don't think I believe you. I obviously didn't say that to him because I didn't want him to get mad at me. Another lie, I'm pretty sure it's a lie, that he told me is that he said he was a professional soccer player, which I believe is called football in South Africa, where you kick the ball, soccer. He said he was a professional soccer player and that he had like Mercedes and Ferraris and all these nice cars, and he made like $2,000 or $3,000 per game that he played. And then somehow when he immigrated to Canada, all his money disappeared and he's like a broke student. I didn't believe that either. But at this point, I'm like, okay, why is this guy lying to me? Like, what is he trying to get out of this? Let's get to the antithesis. Let's get to the peak of the mountain where everything fell apart. I had already decided to end things with him. So I called him and I said, it's over, like, I'm not really feeling it, blah, blah, blah. So my sister suggested that I look at Google reverse images in order to see if he is who he really is or he is what he says he is, etc. So thank you to my sister Harmony for suggesting that. And basically, when I had gone over to his place, one time I had seen his carpentry work and I was looking at that and I was like, okay, like it's not bad for a beginner. It does the job and here's the photo. But if you were a carpenter in South Africa and you're just, finishing school as a formality, it's not very good. And it also does not look like the bed that he posted on his Instagram that he gave to his mother. So we looked on reverse Google images and we found, during quarantine after things were over, he posted another piece of work, nightstands that he had made, and he is claiming them as his own. Can show you in the photos here. But basically, he's a liar, and we found them on Google reverse images as photos from Pinterest in which he basically just took the photos and is claiming them as his own. So if you look in the photos, here are the Pinterest photos. It's the exact same wall color, the exact same floor, the exact same crown molding. The angle of the camera is the exact same in the nightstands and the bed. Now, this is his Instagram photos. Look at the caption. He's claiming it as his own. Like, what is the point of that? And also, he told me these lies and that this bed frame was one that he created and built himself before we ever met in person. So he literally started lying to me from day one. So once I found this, obviously I had to confront him because it's fucking funny. That's what I did. I confronted him and he got all upset and emotional and he's like, what do you mean? Like, oh my gosh, like, what if you find out that all of this is untrue and you're accusing me of these things? I cannot believe you, Faith. Don't ever talk to me again. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you're caught. Like, admit it. You are caught and you didn't even put in enough effort to try and get away with this. That's not cool, okay? And yeah, so that's basically what happened. And then I'm kind of just thinking that he lied about a bunch of different things. And he also told me that he had no childhood photos of him in South Africa because he burnt them. When I heard that, I'm like, ooh, this dude's messed up. Like, not even like getting rid of your photos or like not wanting to show me because they're embarrassing is one thing, but telling me you burnt them? Anyway, and then another lie. I'm trying to think of all the lies, guys. There were so many. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys something really creepy also that happened is that he was trying to be super romantic. Anyway, he was just too weird and like too sensitive. But after like a month of literally knowing each other, he sent me the song Heaven by Kane Brown, and he told me to listen to it, and that's how he feels about me. I don't even know you like longer than a month, and he sends me that. So I'm just gonna sing it because if I play it, I think I'll probably get a copyright strike. I think I can sing it, I'm not sure. I might have to take it out if my channel gets more popular. But here are the key lyrics that were like really off-putting to me. Okay? I swear you're an angel sent to this world. What did I do right to deserve you, girl? And then here's the chorus. Lying next to you in this bed with you, I ain't convinced. I don't know how heaven can be better than this. And I listened to that and I was like, this is so creepy. If you're a guy watching this video, don't send someone like a super romantic song when you hardly know them. If this was like sent to me from my husband or like someone I was dating for like 2 years, then that would be okay. But no, I'm sorry, it did not work out in your favor. And I haven't talked to him since, which is good riddance in my opinion. And I kind of think his family's into it. Like I think either his family knows about it, and if they don't, they should know because he is using his mother to pick up chicks. That's not cool. That's so bad. And that's not any sort of person that I want to date. So good riddance. Thank God for my sister Harmony for helping me get out of this. Again, I think I knew at some level that this was not going to work. He was like super weird. Also, he had a foot fetish. Yes. It never materialized sexually because I guess we hadn't dated long enough. But every time he would come over or I would come over, he would want to rub my feet, which is fine with me. And then he critiqued me on my foot hygiene, and he told me that I need to get a scraper and I need to get foot lotion. And I was like, what do you mean I need to get foot lotion? Like, what is foot lotion? Like, can I use just like body lotion? And he goes, no, you have to get like specific foot cream. I'm like, okay, are you going to buy it for me? And he goes, no. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have foot cream that I can like see and then once I see what it looks like, find it at the store and buy it? And he's like, no, the foot cream's for you. It's not for me. And I was like, oh my God, that's so weird. And every time he came over, he would also wash his socks and hang them up on like the towel bar, which I guess is polite if you have stinky feet, but like, that's where I dry my hands. Like, you're drying your socks where we like dry our hands. Like, that's really gross. And what else? Oh, he also said that he wasn't religious, but he had 2 tattoos of Jesus and God on his body. So that was kind of cool. So, I mean, he had a sleeve, like a full sleeve, and he was super buff. So, like, that was nice. That was probably the only thing he had going for him. I'm sorry. I don't like liars. But, so he had a tattoo on his leg that said Jesus, and then he had another tattoo that said God, but then he said he wasn't religious at all and he doesn't go to church. And I'm like, it's okay if you are. Like, why are you lying to me? Like, I don't understand. And honestly, he was really creepy. There's just so many weird things, you guys. I hope I don't forget anything, but definitely let me know if you like this video. Also, let me know what you think was going on in this situation. Do you think he was using me to become a sugar mama? Do you think he was trying to manipulate me to get like a green card and like 90 Days Fiance? Do you think something completely different? Definitely let me know. Every time I see him on Tinder, I report him, and it's kind of a funny joke because my sister sees him and reports him as well, and she also screen records it and then sends it to me, and it's actually really funny. And he's told me that all his exes are crazy and blah blah blah, and it's like, now I understand. We aren't the crazy ones, it's you. I think all your exes have found out about you, so definitely, if you're on Tinder, try and be safe. I definitely think that he was either trying to use me as a sugar mama or trying to steal all the stuff out of my apartment and then rob me, because he constantly asked me when he would get a key to my apartment and where the stairwell was. So I'm assuming that he was just going to take my belongings or my SIN number or who knows what and get his friends and take it out the building. I mean, what else can I assume? So he's definitely at the bottom of like my dating standards. Actually, okay, there was another guy, but like, oh my god, guys, I'm not telling you because it's bad, but so future references. When I refer to ex, I'm referring to my ex of 4.5 years because I don't consider the other guys that. I mean, we were never boyfriend and girlfriend, we were never exclusive. I never told him that I was committing. He came over to my apartment once and he didn't leave until like 8 p.m. It was like a Saturday and he came over and he spent the night. And the next day I'm like, okay, like, you know, I got some things to do, blah, blah, blah. And he did not leave. He did not get the hint. He took a nap until like 3 p.m. and then wanted to go do things. And I'm like, dude, like, you gotta go. Like, I gotta, you know, go grocery shopping, gotta do my laundry, gotta get ready for work. Like, again, it was all before quarantine, but like, ugh, it was weird. It was so weird. Anyway, and yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please, please, please give it a like and or subscribe. If I have other stories like this, I will definitely let you know. I will continue the Tinderella experience or the Bumble experience until obviously I find someone that I'm passionate about and into. I guess I was under the impression that the next person I wanted to be with would be like my forever person, but I just need to lower my standards a lot because I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. And I'm allowed to be picky. That's what being single is all about. That is what figuring out who you are is all about, and I'm all for that. I'm really enjoying living on my own. So, I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye guys.